Toy Spot. We are having a look at the NECA 2015 convention exclusive Rambo Forces of Freedom. NECA takes the Rambo First Blood Part 2 figure and gives it a slight paint deco change to give it a little more cartoon accurate display here. It looks more like it would have appeared how he would have appeared in the cartoon. Still, the cartoon would have been a little more cartoonish versus the realistic sculpt of Rambo here, but it's really neat that NECA would have opted to go this route. We've gotten video game treated figures before, but I think this is the first cartoon repaint figure, which is really neat. Looks like he also comes with the same accessories that the First Blood Part 2 Rambo would have come with as well. Down below it says, brave, daring, heroic, no man can stop him. The back of the package says the Force of Freedom, collect the Force of Freedom down below. We've got John J. Rambo from First Blood Part 1, or First Blood. Survival version Rambo. We've got John J. Rambo, the video game appearance, which we've looked at. John J. Rambo from First Blood Part 2. And John J. Rambo Bow Attack, which is a figure we have not looked at here on the channel. A brief read-up says, when the army can't, Rambo can. Rambo is America's ultimate weapon. Unequaled in courage, unfailing in patriotism, and a man who knows no defeat. His strength and skill allow him to accomplish dangerous missions that no ordinary man would attempt. Martial arts, weapons, explosives, Rambo is master of all. He fights for America, but most of all, for justice. Rambo leads a select force of trained experts who risk their lives for freedom's cause. With Rambo, they fight an age-old battle against evil. But evil wears many faces, and none is more sinister than the face of Savage. This worldwide terrorist group is led by the scheming General Warhawk, a man motivated by greed and the thirst for power. As he lays his plans for world dominance, only one man stands in his way. You guessed it, Rambo. To check out more from the folks over at NECA, you can go to www.necaonline.com. And that being said, Spot's going to take a break. Going to get this opened up, and when we come back, the 2015 convention exclusive of NECA's Rambo will await. Don't go anywhere, guys. Stay tuned. First thing we'll have a look at with Rambo is he comes with a card. Now, it looks like the card, it doesn't look like it can be opened. It looks like the card's been slightly cut off. It says codename Lone Wolf, distinguishing physical characteristics, born Bowie, Arizona, in Indian, Italian, German descent. But it looks like the side of it's been cut off, which is a bit of a shame. The other side shows you the weapons, RPG rocket launcher, the M16 machine gun, and survival knife. Even says Rambo Force of Freedom 1986 Ruby Spears Entertainment, which actually is the same company that made the fantastic Ruby Spears Superman series, which is one of my personal favorites. So you get a little card. It's a thick card too, which is nice. You put that to the side. Before we have a look at the other accessories, let's quickly have a look at Rambo. I shouldn't say quickly because the whole review is basically this figure here. The figure is good. It's a weird medium to be taking a realistic figure, which NECA has done, and nothing against at all the fantastic sculpt that they put into the figure, but it's hard translating a realistic figure sculpt to a cartoon without, of course, something not quite gelling. It looks like they've taken the initial figure, and the main difference is the coloring here. The coloring is much more reddish in flesh color than the original figure release. He's got black pants, and he's also got almost a brownish burgundy headband. Now, where I say it doesn't quite match the show, I used to love watching the show, and I feel like they could have gone with a little bit more even exaggerated color than what we ended up seeing right here. In the cartoon, I remember Rambo having like olive colored green pants instead of the black, and his bandana was extremely bright red. So NECA could have put bright red on the bandana and could have given him olive colored pants. I've also seen it where in episodes where he's got like almost blue pants, like jeans, and he's got like a white top. So I mean, really, they could have also incorporated that from the previous, maybe even First Blood Rambo. They could have done a little bit something to that, maybe use the same head and just swap that around. But If you don't look at it like the cartoon Rambo, it is really still a fantastic, and I say fantastic, I know I sound like a broken record, but it is still a really great figure if it's not even attached to the cartoon. The face sculpt, some of NECA's finest. I love the facial expression going on there. I think by also making the skin color a little more on the reddish color, it doesn't seem to have the translucency that the original figure seemed to have. Keeps the same articulation as the original figure as well. Rambo's accessories will include a bow, a hunting bow. Of course, he would have to come with a couple of different arrows. One looks like an explosive arrow. And he comes with an M16 rifle, a hunting knife, staple for Rambo, and a grenade. There's certain irony to the fact that somehow they thought Rambo, a very violent movie, could translate well into a cartoon for kids. That's the 80s for you. You could take the knife. Let's just move his arm out of the way. Take the knife, just open the sheath here. There we go. And you can take the knife and slide it, making sure, of course, you've got it the right way. Slide it into the sheath, and this can close right off. Doesn't always snap in. Sometimes you have to fight with it a little bit. And you can give Rambo the bow. You can put the bow over his shoulder if you want. You could do that like that, or you could have him holding it. I might be inclined to have him holding the machine gun. I think that's might be the route that I end up going. If the hands, however, aren't quite your fancy, maybe you don't have the proper hands, he does also come with an extra 2 pairs. Hands, now these hands are suited for like his gun. You can see like his finger is extended as if he's grabbing onto a trigger, but he does have more closed palms for holding his bow. And he's got just a couple of variations to that. He's got one that's a little more narrow for perhaps holding like the arrow. Now the thing about the arrows though, and luckily the previous ones I had have survived, they're very fine plastic. You can see how much they bend. If you're not careful, these of course could snap, but yeah, very nice inclusion to include arrows. I would not likely use it with Rambo. And of course he's got the grenade, which guaranteed at some point may get lost. It's so small after all. But I could in the meantime have Rambo holding the grenade, and for giggles we can put the machine gun over his shoulder. Like that. There we go. And you can have Rambo ready to heave the grenade at some villain. Is it a good figure? Yes, it is. I still love this figure. The original is one of my favorites from NECA. Soft spot, obviously, for the fact it's Rambo. This figure is good. I mean, it's another great outing by NECA. It's not quite a video game. It's, again, that little gray area that's cartoon. I think cartoon because, well, I mean, again, like there's Rambo right there. They took a realistic sculpt figure and they tried to make it into a cartoon repaint. Successful? Maybe not. Again, I probably would have gone with more like an olive-colored green pants, and I definitely would have given him a brighter bandana. That's nothing against the figure. The figure is still great, but I think just maybe it missed its mark ever so slightly because, again, you were taking a realistic figure, but by nature is a great sculpt, and you're trying to make it, you're almost trying to degrade it to a more simplistic looking design as how he would have looked in the cartoon. And I'm not really even sure how abouts I would have gone changing this figure to make it look more like this figure. Maybe you could have also done a little more shading, like maybe around the face. Like as you can see, Rambo in the cartoon has less subtle shading in the face. Maybe you could have done a little more predominant painting in the face just to accent some of the muscles and stuff like that. Despite that, though, great figure. Great figure. If you haven't picked him up, definitely would say, you know, you probably would have to get him on eBay now because he is, after all, a convention exclusive. If you're not overly worried at all about the colors, you could easily still pick up the original Rambo from First Blood Part 2. Today's Toy Spot, we were looking at the NECA Toys, the 2015 convention exclusive of John Rambo, The Force of Freedom. Stay tuned, guys. Spot's going to have more Toy Spots heading your way. Thanks for watching, as you always do. See you next time.